hope you realize how lucky you are. Most folks could stand right next to a conspiracy and never smell the smoke. But you're different. You're sharp. So I'm going to let you in on something the rest of the world keeps missing. A few secrets I've handpicked from the deepest corners of my case files. The first time I watched the moon landing footage, something felt staged. Not fake, staged. Like a scene too perfect to be accidental. Shadows falling just a little too cleanly. A flag that folds and ripples where no wind should exist. And a camera shot, crisp, centered, elegant, taken the moment Armstrong steps off the ladder. Who filmed that? The moon's welcoming committee? This is where the conspiracy curls its claws around the story. It was 1969. The U.S. was bleeding public trust. You had Vietnam, protests, and the Soviets breathing down the neck of NASA's budget. America needed a miracle. Not tomorrow, not eventually, now. And in the shadows, there was the one man who'd already made space look real enough to touch. Stanley Kubrick. Fresh off 2001, A Space Odyssey, the theory says NASA approached him. Quietly, politely, desperately. They didn't ask him to fake the entire mission. That'd be too messy. They asked him to fake the footage. Insurance, in case the real mission failed or never took place at all. Skeptics cite telemetry logs and moon rocks. Sure. I've read them, but I've seen governments forge bigger things than footprints. And every time I pause that footage, every time, what should look like history looks like choreography. Maybe we went to the moon, but what the world saw on TV, that might have been Hollywood's finest hour. Once you start doubting what happened up there, you can't ignore the things they're hiding down here. Especially a little place they call Area 51. Area 51 isn't a base, it's a void. A place the map acknowledges only out of politeness, surrounded by miles of desert so empty you can hear your own thoughts echo back at you. And yet, somehow, this test range demands armed patrols, motion sensors, and warnings that treat curiosity like a crime. People didn't start asking questions because of secrecy. They started asking because of movement. Lights darting across the Nevada sky in the 1950s that didn't behave like jets, didn't glide like balloons, didn't obey gravity at all. The Air Force shrugged. Locals didn't. Then came Bob Lazar, the man who poured gasoline on the whole file. He claimed he worked at a sub-facility called S4. He claimed he saw 9 different craft. Sleek, metallic, unearthly. He described an engine powered by an element the world hadn't even confirmed existed yet, Element 115. Years later, science caught up and verified it. Coincidence? Funny how many coincidences pile up around this place. Of course, officials deny it. They call Lazar delusional, but they can't explain why his friends filmed glowing craft hovering exactly where he said testing took place. They can explain why his work records vanished. Not corrected, not sealed, vanished. If Area 51 rattled you, the next case doesn't hide in the sky. It hides in your head. Most cases start with evidence. This one starts with memory. The slipperiest material a detective can ever touch. The Mandela Effect isn't just people misremembering things. It's millions of people remembering the same wrong thing with the same confidence as if the universe made a quiet edit when no one was looking. Take Nelson Mandela himself. Countless people swear they saw the news of his death on TV in the 1980s. They remember the funeral, the eulogies, the photographs. Problem is, he died in 2013. Then it spreads. The Berenstain Bears, except the book says Berenstain. The Monopoly Man, except he never had a monocle. Looney Tunes, except they've always been tunes. It's not one slip-up, it's a catalog of contradictions no amount of fact-checking seems to fix. They say it's proof of parallel timelines brushing against ours. Some say we live inside a simulation that occasionally overwrites files badly. The skeptics claim it's just faulty memory. But faulty memory doesn't synchronize across continents, cultures, and generations. Every time I pull up another example, I don't feel confused. I feel observed. Because if someone is editing reality, they're not hiding the edits very well. Moving on to our next on this feather-tingling list, the assassination of John F. Kennedy. The JFK case is one of those, a stack of documents thick enough to stop a bullet, and yet still missing the pages that matter most. Officially, it was one shooter, one rifle, one perfect storm of timing and tragedy. But the evidence never lined up that neatly. Witnesses heard shots from different directions. Doctors described wounds inconsistent with the official angle. The Zapruder film, the most analyzed home movie in history, shows Kennedy's body reacting back and to the left, as if the bullet came from the front. And that's before we get to the disappearing autopsy materials, the sealed testimonies, the witnesses who changed their stories or vanished. Then there's the web of motives: CIA tension, mafia connections, Cuban retaliation, military disagreements. Too many threads leading to too many people who wanted Kennedy gone, and too many agencies who benefited from letting the public believe the simplest story. Skeptics say it's paranoia. But if this case taught me anything, it's that lone gunmen don't generate this many classified documents. Cover-ups do. Every time a new file gets declassified, the truth doesn't get clearer. It gets more fragmented, like someone broke the mirror on purpose. If you think the government secrets end with a missing bullet and a sealed file, wait until you see the airport that looks less like a travel hub and more like a warning carved into concrete. Airports are supposed to feel busy, loud, predictable, but Denver International, that place feels designed to unsettle you. The moment you approach it, you're greeted by a giant blue horse with glowing red eyes. Blucifer, the locals call it, a statue that literally killed its creator when a piece of it fell on him. Bad omen? Maybe. Accidental prophecy? Maybe not. Then you step inside, and the murals hit you. Scenes of soldiers in gas masks, children mourning over ruined cities, a phoenix rising over flames. These aren't the kind of paintings someone hangs because they look nice. They look more like storyboard panels for a disaster no one's allowed to talk about. And beneath the airport, that's where the whispers get louder. Endless tunnels, unfinished bunkers, construction far exceeding the airport's needs. Billions of dollars missing from the project budget. And the dedication plaque? The one thanking the New World Airport Commission, which doesn't exist anywhere except that stone. Officials say it's all art. All jokes, all overblown conspiracy talk. But every tunnel has a purpose, kid, and every symbol is placed by someone. So, when DIA looks less like an airport and more like a base built for a future no one wants to admit's coming, I don't shrug, I take notes. Some conspiracies start on the ground. This one starts in orbit, with an object that shouldn't exist and won't go away. They call it the Black Knight satellite, a dark, jagged shape floating high above the Earth. Older than our space program, older than our technology, maybe older than our species. It first appeared in the 1950s, when U.S. and Soviet radar operators detected a rogue signal circling the planet in a polar orbit, a path no human satellite used at that time. Then came photographs from NASA missions showing a strange, black, asymmetrical object drifting silently against the stars. NASA labeled it space debris. Funny how debris has the ability to send signals. Over the years, ham radio operators claimed to intercept transmissions. Astronauts reported unexplained objects shadowing their missions. Even Tesla, yes, that Tesla, once mentioned picking up a repeating signal from space he believed came from an intelligent source. The pattern matches what later observers attributed to the Black Knight. Skeptics insist it's just a thermal blanket discarded during a shuttle mission, but blankets don't orbit for decades. Blankets don't transmit code pulses. Blankets don't show up in radar data before humans invented satellites. It's been there longer than we know, and it's not leaving. Now, wait until you hear the theory that says the next world-changing event won't come from space at all. It'll be projected right into the sky above your head. Some files you read once, others you read with the lights on. Project Blue Beam belongs in the second pile. According to the theory, world governments, or something behind them, are preparing a global illusion so massive it would rewrite belief systems overnight. Not with propaganda or news broadcasts, with holograms, images painted across the sky using satellites, lasers, and sound frequencies tuned to slip past your senses and settle straight into your thoughts. The plan has phases, depending on who you ask. Simulated earthquakes to reveal archaeological discoveries. A sky filled with projected religious figures, each one speaking in the viewer's native language. A staged alien invasion to unite the world under a single authority. It reads like science fiction until you remember how far military imaging tech has come and how much of it is still classified. You can laugh, but we'll see. Every time a mysterious light show appears in the night sky, every time a city reports a floating figure or an unexplained sound wave, this theory flutters back into the spotlight like it never left. Maybe Blue Beam is fantasy. Maybe it's a blueprint. Or maybe it's already been tested and we just didn't realize we were looking at a rehearsal. I've probably said more than I should have. If anyone asks, you didn't hear it from me, because if these modern conspiracies are this messy, wait until you see what they buried thousands of years ago. Ancient history didn't just hide secrets, it erased entire chapters. And that's the video I really shouldn't be pointing you toward next.